The next two functions that we are going to take a look at here are pretty common as well. Perhaps not as common as sum function, but you are going to see these two pretty often inside of Excel documents. We are going to look at the built-in min and max functions, two very similar functions, and in fact they are going to look very similar in structure. Number in the three parts equals function name arguments very similar to the sum function. Take a look. So I'm back inside my exercise file. Hopefully you have taken a moment to go through and practice at sum function and complete it for the rest of the months and for your road totals as well for each of the bills. Now if you have got any questions on the sum function or functions in general, jump into the Q&A section and ask your questions. Again, I love getting questions asked them. Alright. So now min and max. To get this set up, I'm going to scroll down just a little bit just so I separate myself from our nice little spreadsheet. I'm going to go into row 11 and I'm going to put in some labels here. These labels, that's all they are going to be, just labels to label our calculations. So I'm going to bring in min, can hit my enter key. I'm going to bring in max and I'm just going to get set up for the future videos. I'm going to bring in an average and I think that will be it for now. Average. They spell there right, looks odd. Alright. So here I'm going to go into B. The first one that we are going to experiment with here is the main function. And like I said, this should feel pretty similar to working with some function that we saw earlier. I want to know the minimum value from a range of cells, smallest value. So I'm going to go to B11, going to go to my formulas tab. We can look at our little books. Earlier we went into math and trig, right? We wanted to do some math type operation, we wanted to sum. We found it here inside of the math function or the math folder little book. By scroll on through, I find the ms, there they are. But I don't see the man or the max inside of there. Alright. So I'm not inside of there. We got all these other books that we can look through as well. We have got financial, logical, text, date, time, lookup and reference. I don't know. Where do you find the min max function? Let's see, there is one called more functions. If I go into there is statistical engineering, Q, the information compatibility and so on. Let's see. I really guess statistical. If I scroll through here I will find them in function. Now I know is there because I have been using this application forever. Alright, well, where do I find it? How do I know where to find this thing at? Well, there is actually a couple of different ways that we can do this. We can use the books, and as you become more and more familiar with working set of Excel where functions reside, this can be a no-brainer. Eventually you are going to be typing them out by hand anyways. You may not even go to the formula tab. Well, in the meantime, as you're learning functions, I'm going to hop out of here for a moment. I'm inside a bill leaving. That's where I want the function to show up. So here I'm going to go click that little SFX button that we talked about in couple of prior videos. I mean it, click on a little insert function button here. I get the insert function window where I can search, I can type in keywords, I can search by category, and down below they'll give you suggested functions for that search term or that category. So here I could say I want to find the min function. So I will type that in, or you type in minimum or whatever. I will hit go. Took them all with their gaming recommended, and that's giving me some suggested or recommended functions. And there is min. So the min function returns the smallest number in a set of values, ignores logical values and text. Alright. Looking for minimum values of numeric values. So with min selected I will hit OK. And this opened up the argument window, and look at that. It's already filled in some information for me. Now let's take a closer look at that B before through B10 before through B10. Well, I don't really want that. I won't be before through B10, so Excel tried to help me, but BB10 is empty and B9 is my total.